I managed to finish one of the most hated games of 2022, reboot of Saints Row. How is the game doing now? Is it worth buying and playing? Did it manage to destroy Volition? In this video I'll try to answer these questions. Let's begin. Saints Row was made by Volition and published by Deep Silver in 2022. Like every other GTA-like game, it is a story-driven open-world title. Basically, if I should characterize Saints Row in a few words, I would definitely say it's like GTA being high on every possible track. But now, without further ado, let's dive right into this review. If you have ever played Saints Row, you probably know that it never focused on the story, and it doesn't change here. It didn't hurt anything, but also it was not phenomenal. However, at the end of the game, the story accelerated a little, and I was pleasantly surprised. It is not under average like the rest of the story. Sometimes it is not very logical, but if you just accept it, you will enjoy it. Another huge plus of the story is the cutscene at the beginning. It was really nice when I saw it for the first time, and I couldn't believe I am playing Saints Row. However, after that cutscene, the story quickly falls behind. The story begins with a group of 4 friends, Kev, Eli, Nina, and you. What I most like about them is that each of them is unique. Everyone possesses different qualities and together they form a nice team. For example, Eli is a nerd and Kev is a gym rat, but they fit together like puzzles. It is not made to perfection, but it's not trash either. Some other less important characters are also decent, but there are some which you don't know anything about. One of them, called Sergio, quite an important character, but throughout the whole game I saw him once. On the other hand, big plus is the character customization. I was able to customize almost everything, which is awesome. Only negative to this is that if you want to unlock specific shops, which are iconic for Saints Row series, you need to grind a lot. This also applies to your crew, cars and weapons. However, these items are much less customizable as the main character. I know, I got off the story a little bit, but now I'm back on track. So, as I said earlier, there is a group of friends. They have to pay their rent, which is quite challenging for them. To get money, each of them is a part of different gang. However, after some time, they decide to create their own gang and build a huge criminal empire. I'm not going to tell you anything more about the story. Let's just move to the second part of the video, and that's... Main quest line is quite decent. What I really like about the quests is that they are as absurd as they have always been. For example, in one mission you are blackmailing a guy because he doesn't want to sell you a church. The way this was done was funny and entertaining. However, this cannot be said about side activities, which are spread all around the game world. There are so many of them. What is more, most of these activities are based on repetition. You need to complete same activity several times, only difference is that you will do it in different location. On the other hand, there are few activities which I really enjoyed and had fun. Others will be annoying after a short while. Most of the activities are: go get this vehicle and drive it here, but be careful, don't destroy it, or there are enemies that will complicate your life. Kill them. Speaking of enemies, combat in Saints Row is, I don't know, average. It has some unique features which were not in previous titles, but something is missing or is not done to perfection. Volition had some nice ideas, but they were ruined because they weren't finished. For example, perks, and you will unlock specific perks after leveling your main character. These perks are passive abilities. Passive will be used automatically when equipped. If you want to use active abilities, you need to have flow, which I can say is like special stamina only for these perks. Flow can be earned by killing enemies. This sounds quite nice, but it's not that useful. I managed to unlock quite a few perks, but they weren't very important in the combat. I could easily kill enemies without them, it was just some feature to kill them a specific way. What is more, the activation of these perks was awful. However, there is another much more useful way of killing enemies. It's killing enemies using takedowns, or I don't know how it's called in Saints Row terminology. I have spent many hours in Doom, so I'm going to call it glory kills. So, these glory kills work almost exactly like in Doom. They are basically executions of an enemies, and when they are done, player will receive some health. But you can't glory kill every single enemy. Some enemies have 2 health bars. If you want to execute them, you need to do enough damage to break their first bar, and then you can execute them. These takedowns are useful. Unlike the perks, their influence on gameplay is enormous. In some fights, I was extremely dependent on them because I was sleeping during the fight, or I don't know how I managed to lose almost all of my HP. Moreover, animations of these kills are well made, they look quite real, and each of them is unique. But you can't just glory kill everyone, there is a special cooldown between each execution, but hitting headshots will reduce this time. However, these glory kills were in the previous games too, so it's not a huge innovation. Another necessary part of each combat are weapons. You can upgrade them and boost their statistics, making them more dangerous for enemies. But they are just like guns in every single game. Shooting feels well. The best shooting from Saints Row series, in my opinion, had Saints Row 4 re-elected, and shooting in the new Saints Row feels a bit worse. To sum up all combat, it has some positives, but it's not fantastic. There are some features that weren't made to perfection and are useless, but there are also some which are useful as hell. To be completely honest, I quite like the graphics of this game. It didn't look horrible or anything like that. Audio is also a good part of the game. I haven't experienced many auditional problems, except for one. After the entire playthrough, I can't even tell if cars sounded well or not. I wasn't able to hear their engines the entire game. I have no idea why. But this is the only problem I had with the audio. As for bugs, I haven't encountered many, and when I have, it were just some small problems. Nothing game breaking. Game also runs smoothly, I didn't experience any FPS drops. If I should answer the question from the video title, Saints Row Reboot definitely had influence on closing Volition Studios. However, it was not only the fault of Saints Row, but also the management of Embracer Group. They did not manage their resources well and needed to cut their expenses, and Saints Row, as a really problematic and expensive project, was one side where they have done. Also, the state of Saints Row at the launch was bad, and it was just a matter of time when it will have some consequences. It's sad that the Volition studio, the veterans of the video game industry with 30 years of existence, were cancelled. However, the game is not as bad as it was publicly said. It is just an average game with some nice details. I was able to enjoy this game. If you don't expect anything from it, it can surprise you pleasantly. I am giving Saints Row Reboot 6 out of 10. But now, better get your gang running or the cops will put your lazy ass into prison.